Okay. So, Marie, do you can you say me when the guest can the students can listen to me?
Excuse me, I didn't hear you.
How can I understand when the moment starts? One have to start with the students, welcome the students.
You can start now.
Okay. Okay, so probably they were listening to me. Okay. Good afternoon. Welcome to this webinar. From the people that I see here, the majority have followed the course of organic production and certification. So in this webinar, I don't want to go deeply and to speak about all the organic production and certification. I so important, especially the issue of conversion from conventional farming to organic farming. This because this is a crucial point for many reasons. Because there are two different systems. Especially if we focus to the farm, because in the processing, for sure there have problems, but it's easier because depends sometimes not on the practices, but on the line and installation that we do. So the most crucial and the most difficult is conversion of of the conventional farms to organic farming. As you'll see in the next slides, I will explain it in more details, but this is the main focus in this webinar. To convert to organic, it's the most important is farming, practical farmings. And to do this conversion, the farmer have to convert, first of all, his mentality, his knowledge, his information, and convert the farm. And then for this, he was to face the certification body, to control bodies, in order to ensure to them that a system, an entire system now is functioning, and is functioning is going to convert to organic. However, I don't want to stay more here because you will have a chance in the next parts of this webinar to speak in more details about this kind of conversion. Really is a very huge conversion process, not easy. For people that probably for the people that probably didn't know about much more about certification and about organic agriculture, I wanted, however, to point out some issues here related to certification first, very shortly, because I have spoken for the students in the previous lectures about reasons for conversion or of farmers to organic system, or the other side, the reasons the farmers are going out of organic system, because we have not only conversion from conventional to organic systems, but we have certain times even the going out of the system. I want to speak about conversion as a concept and some practical issues related to conversion, especially for the farms. But however, I will say something about processing units and companies. I want to speak about separation in organic farming and processing very shortly, because I have spoken previously, but this is part of conversion. So you cannot have a conversion to organic if you have not checked before the separation issues, and if you don't assure in front of the certification body that this separation is in practice, it is happening. and labeling, but not labeling going in details, but something related to the conversion period, because there is a period that is called conversion period. So, general issues, as I said, about certification. Which are the businesses and farms that can be, or activities that can be certified organic? In general, any business directly involved in food production can be certified, but this related to EU regulation. Then there are other standards. There are voluntary standards, not only those regulated by rules, by regulations, that diversify, that enlarge the field of certification, like restaurants, for example, that are not object of EU regulation. So the activity of how it is called, when it is in the chain, the restaurants that offer even the service that for events, for example, or in the eating how to say, in Albanian we say mensa, and in Italian it is the same. So in the places, a kind of restaurant services that are, for example, for workers or students or children's. Textiles and cosmetics, for example, objective certification, but careful, attention. Textiles, cosmetic, and restaurants cannot be certified according to EU regulation, but however, as I said, does exist voluntarily standards. So up you have all the lists that are object of the certification according to EU regulation, but not only. Even to use the USDA, or NOP standards of United States of America, and so on. Organic certification is the certification process. Okay, when I spoke about theory in the previous lectures, not in this webinar, I have explained that there are different certification schemes, which are focused, for example, to products, to the process, or to the staff, and so on. In fact, organic certification is a process certification. It takes care about management system from field to the fork. So from the field to the consumer. And doesn't certify, I want to say with this that we don't certify the product. We certify the process, because the process is important. Why? So the reasoning is very long, but I can say here that is because we want to put another practice. We want to save the environment and so on. So we're not interested only to the product that will be, how to say, more safe to the consumer, but with the standard of organic, we take care about the environment too. And even for the social issues, we try to put together three main pillars of sustainable development, which are social issues, environmental issues, and consumer and economic issues. Some slides. I'm sorry, I have to not to stay much. It's just for reminding for people that, or to precise the idea and concept of people that is related to organic production, and related to this to organic certification. What includes in organic certification? Everything in the farms. They work in facilities, fields, storage, And the same we can say for the processing units. If sometimes there is some done, sometimes the farm is not just collecting or harvesting, but do some preliminary, for example, cleaning and packaging. If the products go directly then for the marketing channels. So sometimes the farms don't do only farming, but they do some processing activities too. So everything has to be converted, and everything has to be controlled then in order to put in the certificate and to have the certification as organic production unit. Okay, let's go further. You know that certification is done by specialized organization, accredited organizations that are controlled from their other accreditation bodies, and they issue a certificate after they do a control in the place, after they control all the documentations, and after they do evaluation of the system, and only after this, if everything is positive, they will produce or will issue a certification that shows that this farm or this processing unit or this processing company is respecting the standards for organic production and processing. From the other side, the inspection has to be frequently. About based in the regulation, we have to do at least one inspection in a year or one control, but the controls can be then based on the risk and for sure based on the how to say the characteristics of the process. For example, if we have a vegetable farm and the farmer cultivate different species, not all at the same time. For example, in the autumn, and then some planting in the spring or in the summer. So probably here we have more controls. So to be sure that the certification body has its special protocols depend on the farm risk management and on the farm characteristics. I don't want to go in details here, but I am giving how to say an image how it is linked from European Commission, all the how to say parts of the channel. Let's go to organic operators, which can be producer, farmer, processor, distributors, importer, exporter, and so on. Which are the reasons for conversion or going out of organic system? Okay, the reason for certification are the main reasons that are for other products and which are focused in a special segmentation of the market in the worldwide market, because as we know, there is a demand, and in fact this demand is increased, and curiosity is done a study during this pandemic period, and it is found that there is an increased consumption of the organic products in the worldwide market. So when the people are more focused then, or more conscious about their health, and how it is important that we have a food which is more healthy, then people have the trend to go to the organic production, to consumption of organic products. And to be sure about that, there are different schemes, but they first of all see if the product is certified or not. So the certification, in fact, is intended to protect consumers from misuse of the term and make buying organics easy, so they can find easier the products. And for the other side, certification is essentially aimed at regulating and facilitating the sale of organic products to consumers. Certification, in fact, or I would say conversion of farms to organic production from conventional, in fact, offer or open to them a long-term market opportunity, because we have an increase of ethical consumption, because we have a good segmentation of the consumers that go and buy organic products, not only because they think they're more healthy for them, but because they are concerned about environment or other ethical issues like social concern. They go to buy the products that are produced from small farmers or from small organizations than to the big companies that count about thousand and thousand hectares and tons of production. The other opportunity is because we have now better introduction in the modern forms of short chain. So this is linked with the previous that I said. So there is a trend to go to the short chain, and in this case, uh, uh, consumers are going to the producer. So in fact, we have economists or the students that study economy every day listen in the lectures that we have to go to the scale economy, we have to go to the big distribution, we have to go to the big farms because this is better from efficiency point of view. But however, according to me, there is another trend of consumers that go to the short chain and want to go to the producer, directly to producer. I want. Mm, I don't want to stay here to explain all of this because this is then question of marketing. But however, it is important to stress this here. Another thing is that there is an opportunity because, for example, the International Federation of Organic Farming Movement is lobbying and working to open other opportunities for the organic market, but not because only to help the producers to have market opportunities, but because it is very linked to the what I speak about especially ethical issues like environment and social issues that are linked to the justice and to the better condition for the farmers. So the trend is to go from niche markets, so a market of a privileged market with high price uh, and low quantity to the mainstream. This is our dream, and this is one of the objectives that International Federation of Organic Agriculture Movement, where I do personally take part, and I am one of the board member of a regional group of organic movement, which is called Agro-Bio Mediterranean, and it is part of, so it is working in Mediterranean countries, taking European countries, EU countries, and European countries that are not in EU, and some countries that are from the North Africa. An example is that EU itself, as European community or European Union, is now producing and how to say uh, uh, planning policies and strategies to in favor of organic movement, in favor of organic production, and An example of this is, for example, Denmark. From the other side, certification is an important tool of marketing, and so through certification, people are able to put now the term organic in the food product labeling, otherwise, or in different marketing tools. So if they are not certified, they cannot use the term organic or bio or biologic, ecologisch, and so on. Different terms that are placed in, how to say, are regulated by EU regulation, which is regulation 834 of 2007, and the other regulation 899 of 2008. However, I want to mention here, by the way, I want to mention here that in 2021, a new EU regulation for organic production will be in force. It is the regulation. This regulation is prepared. People, experts, farmers, producers are being trained, are how to say, trying to have knowledge how to adapt their system, and in 2021 it will become, or it will enter in force. Which are the challenges that producers have to face when they want to go to organic market? Three main important issues: how to manage the standards, how to adapt to the standards, how to create a system, and record keeping. Another thing is certification cost. There is a high competition, however, because the high standards create the condition of high competition. There is a problem sometimes, erosion of credibility in organics because of different scandals. However, we have presence at international level, different scandals in cheating in the field of organic production. I prefer to pass this slide, I'm sorry. Not because it's not important, but in this case, better to save time to pass to the most important issues. However, if you want, you can have it here published, and you can consult it. An important challenge and is the social concert about ethical labor standards, like slave labor in Africa, cacao, child labor in different countries of Latin America, and so on. So this is a challenge for all the small farms that they, however, have not much resources, economical resources, budget to cover working or labor in their farms. Another concern is economic concern. This due to volatility of the markets or market failures, or problems with incomes that farmers can take. So many times farmers have problems in the incomes they have from the agriculture in general, and organic agriculture too, because now it comes the small farms have difficulties to enter in the market. Especially for the small farms that have very limited staff, very limited time because they work mostly, and because they have limits in reading, in literature. So I'm focused now in the some challenges the farmers, especially small farmers, they will have. So when they have to go to enter to the organic system, before all they have to study. They have to study the organic standards, which are a lot. Um, then he has to respect, to be compliant for everything, farm facilities, production methods. Um, so because these for them will ask even other costs. For example, they have to involve their budget or their incomes for modifying facilities, for any investment or changing suppliers and so on. The other challenge is documentation. Unfortunately, the last years, the documentation is becoming bureaucratic, very bureaucratic. That this means there is a lot of paperwork, and the farmers cannot afford it for, especially for the time, but even for the adoption, their adoption to the paperwork, because farmers usually know to produce well in the farm, and they are not used to work with the papers. Another problem is planning. They have to write an annual production plan. They have to submit it. They have to detail everything from the seeds they buy till the sale. They have to document everything: field and crop location, fertilization, pest control activities, harvest methods, storage location, and so on. And then comes another challenge, the inspection, the annual control. It needs time. They have to stay with the inspector. They have to abandon their works of every day or have people to stay with that. They have to be available to offer every documentation, everything that the inspection requires. Ask them. They have to do a physical tour. They have to do examination with the inspection, so examination of records. They have to have time for oral interviews, and depend on the size of the farm and companies. They have to interview the workers, managers, administrative staff, and so on. Fee is a challenge, and the fee, if the controls will be more bureaucratic, more time has the inspector has to spend for control, higher would be the cost of the farmers. So the fee is another problem. And as I said, record keeping. So the system now is slower. I don't know why it is not. In fact, was not okay. About slide. Another problem is, for example, let's speak, for example, about requirements for animal husbandry or processing, storage. Can be a little more complicated. Another thing is that, especially for the first time certification, the farm has to face the fees for chemical analysis, because something has to be done, And for this, again, as I said, it's a problem because it, at least in this year, can be an increase of the cost, but something can be in other times. For example, depend on the risk assessment of the certification body. The certification body wants to take samples to be sure that is not any mixing or cheating. So sometimes it's not only in the first year, but it can be in the next years too. And another challenge is that you have to enter, you have to apply all the standards of organic certification, of organic production, and then you are not certified in the first year, you are not certified organic, and you have to pay the fee, you have to prepare the management system, you have to apply, as I said, in the farm all the practices, and you cannot sell as organic. So this period, at least, okay, you see later that this period can be different, but let's say the basic is we have 3 years before they can have a certificate, and even they cannot label products as organic. So in this period, in this time, the farmer and the producer cannot certify products as organic. This time, as I said, this conversion is called conversion period. So let's go further because somehow we have spoke about this. So reasons are ethical, economic, for higher incomes, and market opportunities. Sometimes the farmers, even from my direct contact, convert to organic, not only for environment, for ethical issues, for incomes and market opportunities, but even for their health. Because don't forget that when they do conventional farming, they use different, especially pesticides, which have always residues on the product. But not only. The biggest problem is that when they spray the different pesticides, they are exposed to these, how to say, poisons for their health. And from my contacts, many times when I speak with farmers and sometimes introduce exactly the idea for putting organic or inputs that are allowed in organic production, they are very happy. They would be very happy even they have not increased in their income. At least they keep the same if they use products that will be less poisoning for them when they working, when they spraying. This is a table. I have presented this table in the lectures too, when I spoke about certification. This table is interesting. I want very shortly to focus here where you see these stars. And here we have comparison between your conversion in 1995 and after 1995 in 2000, 2002. We see a shift of the farmers. First, farmers were converting to organic because of the food quality reasons and soil fertility, because they were thinking really that the soil fertility can be increased using farming methods that we use in organic production. These have a decrease in the years, but see, in the last years, even starting from 2002, there is a trend that farmers, and this is good, not good, they tend to convert their farm to organic because of the profits. And the profits, I mean, go into the market and they have higher incomes, higher prices. And because of organic farming payments, what are these? These are payments that are given by European Union for the farms that convert from conventional to organic, or the farms that are continue to be organic. So they have subsidies, especially being organic. So this is one sometimes of the reasons that the farmers go and convert their farm to organic farming. This could be okay, but I would love that people, for sure, without economy, we cannot do business. But will be important to have in their mind exactly this: food quality and soil fertility. However, what I said before, from even the contacts, my personal contacts with farmers, sometimes farmers don't want to increase, how to say, they are not focused to increase their income, but they're saying, okay, at least take the same incomes, but could have a better food for the consumers, because I'm sorry, because if a product, I don't want that my children don't eat it, so I don't want the children of the others don't eat it, have a healthier product. And for sure, for their workers too, they want that the workers work with products that are safe for their health. Which are the reasons that farmers, what's happening here? Why I have an increase? Sorry, I have a decrease of, okay. I'm trying to, okay. Can you see better now? Hope you see better now, because I have a decrease of the screen. Okay, which are the reasons, what's the, or the motives why the farmers are going out of the organic system? Certification and control is too bureaucratic, as I said, and it's expensive. So this is a huge problem, especially in the last years. The other organic standards are complicated, sometimes irrational, and because they change frequently. So changing frequently, people want a certain time to adapt to a certain standard, and then change, and they have to need training, and the training is costly. It's costly in money, but it's costly in time that from the other side will be converted in money. Organic standards are becoming stricter with time. From the other side, now, last times, or in our time, we have a good thing that we have an increase of animal welfare, but for the farmers, it is cost demanding again. It's much more cost. From the other side, agriculture policy is risky. Sometimes it is not predictable. And I cannot say that one of the reasons is because organic financial support is too low. But I could say that the farmers have economic problems, and having this cost and this difficulty to enter in the markets, then they could ask, or they could need, at least at the beginning, a financial support. Because just to remind that in the especially in the farming, I mean in the field, the first years, when is the conversion period, the farm can decrease the production because we have a big difference of the system. We have a big change of the systems, agriculture systems, microorganisms, organic matter, practices, adaptation to practices. So all of these, what do? They do that we have, when we convert from conventional to organic, many farms face a reduction of production. So they have reduction of production and don't sell organic because they are not certified, because they have to have 3 years of conversion before they can have the right to label as organic, to sell to the organic market, and to have the certification. So this period is a weak point, is a weak period. So in this case, it is important that they have a financial support, which are the subsidies. And we have decrease of subsidies in all the European Union about organic farming. Okay, other problems or challenges that makes them go out of the organic system is palm production has problems with weeds and nutrient supply, difficulties to obtain 100% organic feed. This is problem for farms that have animal husbandry. Hard to sell and achieve premium price for vegetables, especially vegetables. The prices of organic and non-organic are very near. So, how to say, the vegetables, first of all, are very difficult to produce organic. They are through the most difficult ones, especially if we speak about greenhouses. And then the prices don't, in average, don't change very much between the organic and non-organic products. We can have difference, for example, very high difference between organic wine and non-organic wine, but we have the smaller difference between organic vegetables. We have high employment and salaries increase of farm employment because we have social issues. There is much more attention from the governments to the social issues, and it is right, to their salaries, to their conditions, and this, what they do, it increases, however, the cost of the farm. Okay, conversion concept. Let's speak about conversion concept to organic. The conversion from a conventional farm, now, to an organic system requires a transitionary period where the organic practices are applied progressively following an organized plan. And in the same time, in this transitory time, as I said, the farms are not certified organic. They pay fees, they apply all the rules, but they are not certified organic. So this transitory time is called conversion period. In this period, the farms and other producers, like processors, apply and respect all principles and conditions requested by standard. They are under a control regime. As I said, they pay certification fees every year. They are not certified as organic, and they have not the right to label as organic. But the question is, what to convert? How to convert? First of all, we have to convert, or if we are a farmer, we have to convert our mentality. From the research, from different research done in the field of organic production, it is found out that the organic farming do better people that are not farmers. They, how to say, are new farmers, or it is a new generation, and they follow every, how to say, follow the market and the last trends, and they can study organic standards. But the main thing is its mentality, because he's not used, he's not working with the practices of conventional farming. So when he enters new and he is in contact with organic standards, organic literature, or literature that is focusing on organic production, the probability is that this farmer will be more successful in the organic farming. I have examples from my personal life as an expert, that the farmers that, for example, coming from other fields, they are not agronomists, they are not a farmer, they are new farmers coming, for example, architecture. They're starting to convert for their hobby, not for economy reasons. They are more open to organic standards, and he can adapt easier than a farmer which is used in another practice. So the producer knowledge and information is important, and a farmer, before converting his farm to organic farming, he has to convert himself. How to convert yourself as an organic farmer? Searching information. Why not training? Go to the training, search for the training. Which are the organizations that are offering training? National organization, international training. You can find webinars now, especially after the COVID-19 pandemic. People are starting to be more used to searching internet to find the sources. However, we have to be careful. We have to be, however, selective to select what to follow, who to follow, depend on the story of the organization, the story of the person, the author that we are referring to. So we have to, the first thing is to download all the regulation. So we're focusing here to the EU regulation about organic production, but if we want to go to, I don't know, to Japan, we have done a market study, and we see that we can go to the Japan market, so we have to see the Japanese regulation. However, now in the last times, there is mutual recognition or equivalency of the different regulations. So, for example, if we are in a EU country and we produce according to EU regulation, in fact, we are automatically certified NOP, so NOP certification. And so just to summarize it, we have to document ourselves. We have to study. We have, first of all, to know the regulation and rules. And for sure, why not to ask for advice? Because our way to the organic, in this case, can be easier, can be faster, in order to not do alone mistakes that we will not do if we'll have next to us advisor, a professional, expert, which have long experience in working with organic and advising in organic. Which are practices that we then Okay, we work with our mentality. We are documented, we studied, we are searching advice, and we have to see what we'll do in practice. So, however, just remember that the way how a farm is converted to organic is not always the same. And especially it depends on the kind or the specialization of the farm. It is a mixed farm or not a mixed farm. It is a small farm or a big farm. So the strategies and the road where the farm where the farm will pass can be slightly different. However, we have to focus, for example, especially to the diversify farming system. So to select appropriate annual crops for the area. So depend on the area, the climate condition. So one of the principles of organic agriculture is that we have to plant local varieties, cultivars, species which are more adapted in the area, in the local conditions. So we have to select which are the species that we will plant, which are the specializations. For sure, this depends on the market too. So we have done, as I said, market research, and then have one, how to say, a crossroad. Now we have to adjust what we know from the market and what it is from technical of view suitable for this area. We have to plan the rotation that is important. We can do ourselves, or if we are not an expert, it is important to know it, and we can search advice and can have these from the advisor to help us to do a rotation plan. It is important, however, to keep in mind that it is important to introduce in this rotation plan legume crops because they are important for soil fertility. It is important to introduce plant hedges, how to say, the biodiversity, the infrastructure of the farm, like flower strips to encourage, for example, natural enemies to come, and in this case they will control the pest and will not use inputs, will not use external inputs, and it is not need even the ideal is we have not need to use even the products for protection that are allowed in organic agriculture. In order, if we by time would create a system that is sustainable, then the ideal is we cannot use or we need to use the substances allowed in organic agriculture to control pests. However, in this time, I have found it difficult to have how to say, to avoid totally use of products that are allowed in organic agriculture. It is important to plant the cover crops because cover crops have many benefits, and we can use them as mulch or we can use them as a green manure. So the green manure can provide plenty of plant material to feed soil organisms and build up soil fertility. It is important to introduce in the farm animals. Not always happens, but theoretically we have to know that it is better to have animals in the farm. This photo is just to show you how the landscape can be diversified. So we have the examples here of intercropping, of hedges. Look at the hedges, forest, the case of no tillage, so different practices that are familiar for people that are working with organic agriculture. I cannot stay for long here. It's just to remind that it's important that we adopt practices, suitable practices that in this case we can create a system. What is important? What is important else? Start recycling the farm byproducts. So the waste, not burning them. Avoid burning plant residues. In fact, it's better to compost them because it will become a very important resource for us for as an organic matter resource. But I want to mention another important here that burning is the most devastating practice that sometimes are used even in Albania. More rarely now because before was more frequent, and it was because in Albania there was much more cereal producing, and then when the grain, for example, the corn was harvested, people were burning it, and after that they were plowing it. It is the more devastating practices because the soil is burned, the organic matter is burned, the microorganisms are dead. The most important, uh, how to say, our allies, we have microorganisms. So everything that we recommend in organic agriculture is how to have a high micro microbic activity, how to have organic matter. So it is important, as I said previously, to introduce animals in the farm because animals can use even a part of residues, and it is a way how natural way how we can improve microbic activity in the soils because the animals multiplicate a lot of their in their animal manure. There is a very high microbic activity. So the animal manure is not important because it introduced in the soil the organic matter, not only, but we have a very living activity there. We have living organisms in this how to say, part of organic matter that we have in the soil. What kind of animals? Can be for sure. Many farms can introduce cattle or pigs or different other farms. Animals or chicken. And I would say it is important. Even you have not, for example, cattle or chicken. It's important to adapt activities or practices that create a possibility that birds stays in the farm. And in this case, many farms, especially in United States, for example, there is the experience that farmers create nets in order to attract the birds. We have to think about inputs. What seeds we'll use. Are the seeds certified organic? Are they coming from organic production or no? Okay, you know probably the regulation that we have to use the seeds that are certified organic. But there are cases we don't find, we don't find the varieties that are more local, that are more adapted to certain conditions, or we need this variety because of the special characteristics that link to the processing characteristics. So to the final product that we need. So in this case, if we don't find the variety that we want as organic, we have to go to the market that is not organic, to the conventional. Then we have to respect a certain protocol during the conversion period. Just remember, keep in mind that a big problem of organic farms is that they convert all their practices to organic, but they don't convert or they don't change the hybrid or the variety they use. Remember or keep in mind that hybrids and varieties that are much adapted, much or more suitable to the very intensive farming probably or have a high probability that they will not be suitable for organic practices, because these varieties, these hybrids are, for example, are very uh, um, very weak, are very um, uh, how to say, now is not coming the term in English. So these varieties can be attacked. They're more delicate. They're attacked by pests, or they need. They are adapted to have everything ready. They are very lazy. They have how to say. They're adapted to have a huge quantity of nutrients available and so on. So they are not the best ones. So when you think to convert to organic, think about the varieties. Are they suitable to grow organically? Because, as I said, a variety that is, or a hybrid that is adapted to intensive agriculture will be more exposed to the disease and pests, and this means that we cannot keep organic. They will have to use inputs, and we have to use or have to lose the production. Relating to the inputs, I would suggest think about internal inputs. For example, one of them was use of residues of composting, and then we'll see which will be external inputs. But even for production products, we can use internal. It's a problem of education. It's a problem of training, because there are different practices. Even our uh, parents or our grandfathers were using, and probably because of the time that we passed from the traditional farming to conventional farming or intensive farming, create empty space, how to say, create a gap in the knowledge and the experience transmitted from generation to another generation. But we can adapt to huge practices that we can do in the farm, like traps can be very practical methods that we can use traps for different pests in the farm. We can use different plant extracts in the farm. So we can produce some plant protection products in the farm and don't need to use external inputs that we, in this case, will spend money. Just for reminding you, for different practices that we use in the organic farming, when you adapt to organic farming, for example, this is the case of farms that the residues are not, for sure, not burned, but even they are not taken off, they are left here, and they have a function of mulching, but not only mulching, but other services to agro ecosystem. It is not time to stay a long time here, but it's just for illustration. Another example, and you have, in fact, two examples here. One part of the farm, again, is covered with residues, and the other part is not. How is the case? So you have, let's say, the chance to see two different ways how we can work with the residues in the farm. So I see that it is 13 and 10 minutes. What we do else when we convert to organic, to do a market research for sure, in order to see what the market needs, which is more profitable for us. And then to focus to the documentation. And it is a huge challenge, creation of management system, farm practices register, store register, inputs, and products, final products, I mean, so the harvest product. And it is important that we have separated spaces for inputs and separated for products. We have to have a management plan, and they are very detailed, very professional. In this case, I suggest the small farmers to find a way that to have advice from outside. Probably have not money to pay an advisor, a private advisor, but there are organizations, organic agriculture movements that offer free advice. And it would be a very good to create or to enter in a organic association, because this is a very profitable way how we can train ourselves, but not only. We can have information about different issues, and even can have some how to say, lobbying, the possibility of lobbying. When we create a group, we have the possibility of pressure, a positive pressure to the strategies, to policies, and so on. And the most important is conversion of ecosystem itself. I would prefer, since the time is running, but not only, I see with desire to give you as much as more possible information. I was just bearing in mind some important issues related to the regulations, which are related to the conversion. However, this part I would prefer to pass a little faster, not because they are not important, but related to this webinar, we have other issues which are most important. And this part, however, who is interested, I can offer to see later in more details. Okay, speaking about conversion period, you know that it is depend on the plant. If we're referring to the plant variety, if we're referring to the animal husbandry or the farms that are farms that have other profile, there are farms that work with animals, then again depend on the species of the animals that we have in the farm. For example, for grassland and perennial forage, at least need 2 years of conversion before they can feed organic farming animals, or before feeding animals. I mean, when we're speaking about organic animal husbandry farms. Perennial crops, other than forage, at least 3 years before the first harvest of organic products. Annual crop, at least 2 years before sowing. Careful, before sowing, saying. So in this case, then can be when we go in the practical cases, it is important how we calculate them. What I wanted to stress here, that the competent authorities may decide to recognize a kind of retroactively of conversion periods. What I want mean with this. Let's speak, for example, about wild harvesting, because you know that wild harvesting of, for example, medicinal plants can be certified. For example, in wild planting, we can go even a 0 period of conversion when there is enough documentation that shows that this area is not clean, is not used any practices that is not allowed in organic agriculture at least 3 years. So, but this documentation has to be not only, I mean, the declaration of the producer, but has to be based in documentation, in official documentation. So the certification body has to have the enough proofs that even they are doing the 0 period of conversion in this case, the area fulfill all the conditions that are placed in organic farming. We have conversion period for seaweeds, like alga, for example. You know that probably that alga can be certified organic. Here, just to remind, I have put, for example, for different animals, their conversion period, but it's not so simple. You have special tables that are in the regulation, in the annexes of regulation 889 of 2008. I ask your pardon. I want to pass this part of the lecture. Let's stay here about documentation. I mentioned before that there are different documentations that have to be present in the farm or in the processing unit. For example, stock and financial records are important during the contract. What else? All the records that the farm or the processing unit has in the company. What else? All the documentation which is related to the agricultural practices, all documentation which is related to the transport, to the storage, to the claim. For example, an important documentation is the claim. Is based on regulation that every farm and company, processing company, has to have a register, which is the claim register. where they are documented every claim from by the consumers or by the clients or by certification bodies. And here you have the Annex 7, which is I have presented in the lecture where I was speaking with the students about control and certification. It is not for studying here now. It is not important to memorize here, to remember here, but it's just to say that you can find this at Annex 7 of the regulation 834 of 2007. You have to have plant production records. One important thing here, I have found even in the with the farmers. As you know, I have worked as an expert. I giving my expertise as a freelance expert. And there was a long period, about 9 years, that I have worked as an inspector for organic certification. I was doing controls. What I have seen, for example, with the farmers, that farmers were doing, even for them, is difficult sometimes to write. I mean, not because they don't know to write, but because they are not used. They don't like to stay close and to write things. So they were writing all the practice they are doing, and they doing, for example, what they're doing. For example, they're doing fertilization, which is the name of fertilization, which is the company, which is the date they used it, the quantity for 1 hectare, and so on. And then the other practice at the end is harvesting. And they write the date of harvesting, and that's all. In fact, it is important, and it is requested by the regulation. They have to write in this record not only the date of harvesting, but they have to say for every plot the quantity of the product they could harvest it. So the recording is important and time consuming, but it is important. Otherwise, you will not be certified organic. We have the cases when we have several production units which are run by the same operator, and in this case we can have the problem of parallel production, because by the regulation it is allowed when we have more than one unit or production unit. You can have one can have organic and the other one can be conventional. So you can have in this case, let's say parallel production, but not as in the case of classic meaning of parallel production. To pass this, I'm sorry. I'm focused here to livestock, but doesn't matter because I want to go to speak more about separation and okay, here have specific control about beekeeping. Let's pass this. Separation. I spoke previously something about parallel production. Okay, in the organic production field, we face with term of mixed farming and parallel production. Sometimes I mean, the regulation separate this meaning. So mixed farming is when we have a farm which is have crop production and animal husbandry. This is a mixed farm. Then goes to the parallel production meaning. that a parallel production is when we have the same species in the same farm or as organic and as conventional. And however, as I said previously, we are allowed to have organic production and conventional production. I mean, it's not obliged that we convert all the farm in organic. However, it is highly suggested that when we convert from conventional to organic, it is better to convert all the farm. It will be easier for our practices because we have much more documentation. We have much more probability to do a mistake, or the workers, especially when we have workers, probability to have mistakes will be higher. To do, how to say, to have, for example, use by mistake, use of fertilizer in the organic part, or to mix the organic production with conventional production. So it will be much more difficult to have a mixed farm. I mean, a farm where we have organic farming and conventional farming. So better all farm converted to organic. But when it is not possible, we have to see to take care to have not parallel production. I mean, we cannot have the same in the same, for example, plot, organic and conventional. We have to at least physically to separate. So we go to the physical separation. So we have different plots for organic production and different plots for conventional production. Then we are not allowed to use the same species and especially the same variety in two parts, in organic part and conventional part. So if we have a conventional part, we have to have different varieties for sure, if they are visible, and if they are not, how to say, varieties used in organic and varieties used in conventional are not easy, even physically distinguished, then we have to use different species. And the same thing we can say for organic animal husbandry. There is a huge story, but however, we have to take care about to not have parallel production. And if we have, as I said, organic and conventional, we have to take care about separation. And the separation can be time separation and physical separation. We can use one or the other, so we can use time separation or physical separation, or we can use both of them. And this is important, especially in the processing units, again, when you process conventional and organic production. What are the reasons for separation? Contamination. One risk can be contamination of organic production with conventional production. By chance or by mistake, we can mix them. And the other is that we can have pollution or contamination by products that are not allowed, like fertilizers or like pesticides. So it is important separation. And the same thing we can say for separation during the processing. The same logic, we can have contamination there. I mean, between organic production and not organic production. Processes of separation can be at farm level if we have a farm, and I mean, we produce, so we have to have this kind of separation, and especially after when we harvest. So the separation is from inputs till to the uh, to the tools that we use, to the equipment that we use. So, for example, we cannot, if we have a farm, then we have organic part and conventional part. We cannot use a tractor freely that first worked or plowed in the plowed in the conventional part and then go directly to the organic part. So it would be better that we have different tractors, but it's not possible, or machineries, but at least we have to have a special procedure for cleaning them before using an organic part. So it is important. This is in the harvested product. We have to have separated parts. I mean, the most important in this case can be, again, physical, but we can have even time separation. I mean, for example, I used before this storage for organic products. Then just okay. I'm sorry, I have to answer. Okay, when we focus on 2, 3 things, then it's worse. So in transport, processing, transformation, and so on. So since the time is running, okay, this is the big problem of our experts, that when we speak about things that we do and love, we try to give as much as possible. So I hope that you understood this part. I want to focus again here. So we're speaking about separation in the farm, in the transport, in vehicles, and in the processing. And we speak of processing starting from entrance of the raw material to processing and to the packaging and to storage. So everything has to have separated. If we are a mixed farm with organic and not only a farm but a company. So from all the stages, from starting the placing the product in the storage till the final product. This separation I want to stress is separation in time, is the example that I said before, and physical separation. Ideal will be physical separation. Ideal to be that different holdings in different places, so every holding has its individual individual places, workers, so everything in the management system is separated. And the other one, when we have not enough investment, so we can use the same storages and machineries, but have then to respect cleaning before using for organic. Okay. Only one thing is important for labeling. We cannot label the products as products in conversion. Okay, however, the regulation, I mean, we can say that this production is in conversion, but we cannot use the logo. We cannot say this because the logo is the logo of organic production. When we are in conversion, we cannot use the logo for organic because we are not still certified. We are controlled but not certified. So organic or ecological or biological, we cannot use at all. So we cannot use the logo too, but we can say that this production is under conversion. And the last regulation even was giving the right to the farmers and to the certification body to give a kind of attestation that shows that this farm is under control process. Because, however, think about, according to me, however, even I'm not certified, for example, as a farmer, but I am practicing organic farming, this means that I have to have a kind of privilege from the consumers. So it's better, however, a consumer to consume a product that is not certified organic but is under conversion, because it started is using organic practices, than intensive farm that is not at all applying organic practices. Okay, I'm sorry for the time. I spent a lot of time. I concluded here, and I'm open to your questions. Thank you a lot for your attention. Thank you for your passion. So I have a question here. How can we solve the certification of some local varieties if they are not certified seeds? Okay, you take this for the regulation this, if they are not in the database, first of all, if this variety is not in the database of certified seeds, because there is a database. Every country has a database about available seeds, organic seeds. If they are not there, and so you have justification that you can use other seeds that are not certified. And if the local varieties are not certified as organic, you can use again. And in this case, it will be included in the conversion period. I don't know if you could understand. I mean, if I answered your question. Probably you want to know how to certify them. Okay, there is a procedure that you can certify. So every country has, as I said, its database. There are every country authorities that are focused on the certification of seeds. So you can go to these authorities. If you want to produce yourself seeds, then to sell as seeds is another question. But again, you, in this case, can put non-certified seeds. You can. I'm sorry, because in time I'm having messages to assist me in this process. So to conclude this, so for certifying certifying local varieties, we can have different scenarios. One is, we are a farmer, we want to produce a local variety because I like it, because it is consumers want it, and so on. You can use it, and it is normal that, but you have to justify why you are using this variety, and you can use a conventional one. I mean, not certified, and then will be certified. Then in the next years, you can produce your seeds, and then you are certified. And the problem is that in EU regulation, you cannot sell these seeds. You can use for yourself, but you cannot sell them. Or you can sell, but the other farmer will pass again in the same process of certification of control and conversion. So again, they are not known as certified organic seeds. But if you want to produce then seeds, you have to pass in the process of certification of seeds, and then these seeds will be included in the database of the country. Yes, the farmers can exchange seeds between them, but in this case, again, they are considered, unfortunately, if they are not certified at national level as producer as organic seeds. So the other farmer have to be certified as seed producer. Otherwise, you can take from the other farmer, but these seeds are considered by regulation as conventional and has to pass a certain period of conversion. That's all. How can farmers exchange seeds between them? I say they can exchange, but they are not. If in this case they seeds are not certified, so they have to pass through the process of conversion. Should they go through official markets? For sure. But however, remember that is a huge lobbying of the organization, organic farmers organizations that are lobbying, are pushing the government, the EU, how to say, commission in Brussels to accept that the farmers can exchange the seeds. If a farmer is certified organic, to have the right to give to the other farmers and these seeds to be how to say, considered organic. But till now is not yet. There is moving. So please, who is interested, try to link to the organizations that are focused exactly in the seed bank. In the seed bank, there is now. I have not. I have the link of the organization that is at the even EU level, but now I cannot, because of time, cannot give it. But I have the contacts of the associations at the EU level that are lobbying and training strongly to this issue, in order that farmers have the right to exchange the seeds, organic farmers to exchange the local varieties, and the farm to have the right to be directly organic if the problem of the seed is the only problem. There is, as I said, not through the big companies. If we consider Monsanto, don't consider it, because Syngenta Monsanto produce conventional GMO seeds, not at all to them. If the transport should be also certified, how can farmer deal direct selling to consumer? It's not in the case of the farmer. It's not a certification, a special certification for transport. But I mean that even the transport is focus of control. How the farmer transport, which is the vehicle he uses. It is mixed with other products. For example, it's not allowed and cannot be considered if a control body understands, if an inspector understands that the farmer, for example, goes transport his tomato together with other farmers that have conventional tomatoes. For sure, here is the problem, is not allowed. But I mean, the inspector and certification body goes to the farmers and tries to understand, even through interviews, not only checking documentation or checking facilities, but interviewing, and not the probably the person that knows everything, but even if they have the workers, go and interview the workers without the presence of the owner, for example. I have done myself personally for many time when I go, for example, to interview the collectors. In the case of the what they call? Sorry, medicinal, medicinal and aromatic plants, the wild ones. We go, for example, we have a list. We have a list of the from the company which are its collectors, its harvesters, the people that harvest the medicinal plants. And we plan the area where we go to inspect and plan randomly which are the collectors that we interview. And when we interview the collectors, we ask that the manager or the representative of the company will not be there, in order that people are not suggesting, have not suggested answers, or are not influenced to say the truth. There is any other question? I don't know where to find. My colleagues say to me that you have in the personal chatting, but I don't find it. Somebody can help me? Where is my personal chatting? Please, who has written the question and I have not taken the answer, please write here where the other questions are written. Okay. There is any other question? Can I unmute? How can I mute the attenders of the course? Okay. If there is no any question. Okay, can I close it here, or there is? Okay, I would prefer, but I'm sorry, I don't know how to activate your microphones. I don't find here how to activate, but it depends on you. You can activate microphones and can do even can say something if you want to say something. Okay, it was a great pleasure to be today with you. I would like to thank you for your interest. I would like to thank the coordinators of the project, all the staff that was on the back side of this webinar. There was a very huge effort from them and made my work much easier. I would like the project, the Mediterranean Balkan Med Innova, which is the project that made possible that I could present, I could do this course, these lectures, and to present today with you, to be during this webinar. Thank you again, and hope that we'll see